How's it going, YouTube? Today, let's wire up these lights.
Okay.
Right, this one's the second part of two videos. The first one, we fitted the projectors. If you've not seen that one yet, I'll put a link somewhere here if I figure out how to do it. If not, it'll be in the description. So what we're going to do today is we're going to wire these lights to the car. I've already built the loom, so what we'll do is we'll go through that. I'll try and explain it. It's a bit boring. I don't know how I'm going to make this video interesting, to be honest, but I've not been putting a lot of videos up lately. I don't get a lot of time to put the videos up, but if you guys have a look over at my Instagram, Spider Lee the same. If you want to see a few more updates, have a look on the Instagram. There's always photos going up on there. And if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, don't forget to subscribe. Let's take a look at this loom, shall we? Right, here's the loom all built up. Don't panic, it's not actually that complicated. What I've done here is I've added in for the wiring for my charge cooler fans as well, and the charge cooler water pump. So there's quite a bit more there than what needs to be there. We'll just go through what needs to be there. So there's the loom. I've fitted the posh little plugs to it as well. Right, the first thing we need to do when you're building a loom is decide where everything's going. What I'm going to do is down there, if you can see, there's a point for the earths to go. Just here on the end of this, I'm going to mount the fuse box on there, and then the wire will go through for the power to the batteries. Then the loom's going to come round here, go into one light, come across the front and go into the other light. Everything is going to be controlled off of one light. Right, I'm using relays on this loom because these HIDs seem to be better when they're running off their own clean power. And also there's the shutters for the high beam, and what I did notice was when we're running everything through the actual light wiring, it seems to backfeed and do really strange things. So the only way I could get this to work properly was using relays. Right, so what I've got here is I've got the power comes from the battery through some fuses down to the relays. We're starting from this plug, which plugs into where the bulb went into. The black wire goes in for the common for the relays, and the orange and the grey are for the triggers. This is your main beam, and this is your high beam, and this one is the common. Each one of those are triggering these relays. We've got one for the dip beam there, and one for the high beam there. When we're on normal dip beam, this relay triggers and turns on the HIDs. When we're on high beam, this relay triggers and opens the shutters. Plus this one stays on, so we've always got light. Right, the little bit of trickery comes in with the halo rings, because what I've made those do is come on with the ignition for daylight running lights, and they also operate from the side lights like normal side lights do. So when the ignition's on, you don't get the rear lights on the car, you just get the halo rings. So what I've got here is this one will tap into the side lights and it goes through to these diodes here. The other one, the grey one, comes from this relay. This relay is triggered from this wire. This wire we're going to wire into an ignition live that's on the alarm system that's in the same area. So when we get an ignition live, it triggers this relay and puts power up to here. This one is side lights and puts power up to here, and then it goes out to the lights, which is the halo ring, and it goes out the other way down to the other light to the other halo ring. The diodes, if you can see them, but we've got the two powers coming in, the side light and the ignition live. But what we don't want is when the ignition's on, it puts power back down here into the side lights, because then it'll light up all the rear lights and everything as well, and vice versa. We don't want the side lights coming on and putting power back down the ignition. You can see which way they are by looking at them. It just basically stops the power going back down that way, and then they both connect together at the other side and go out to the lights. And it's as simple as that, guys. Right, one more thing I've got coming out from this is another wire that comes out and goes out to the dash to a switch, and then it comes back from the switch all the way back to the lights, into this plug, into that plug, and that is for the red demon eyes in the center. So if that switch is turned on, whenever this wire is triggered for the side lights or the halo ring, then the red one in the center will come on as well, only the same time as that switch is on. Right, in case you're wondering, this wire here in the loom, this one is a plug off of this ignition relay which goes down, and it will be used for my charge cooler water pump, so that'll have power on it whenever the ignition's on. A bit further along, this plug is for my fans that are on the charge cooler radiator over there. They are triggered off this end relay, which the wire that triggers them goes back to the dash. It's this orange one, and that'll be from the fan controller. So when the fan controller is asking for the fans, it'll trigger this end relay, and then we'll have power on here for the fans. I fitted these plugs, make it a bit nicer, and the same on the back of the lights. I've fitted the plugs with all the corresponding cables. The halo ring comes out, and I've just double-sided sticked that on there, and then it goes into this loom which goes to this plug. The HID wire, I actually left that loose, look, so what I can do is fasten these down in the light bay area, and when I want to remove the light, it's these 3 sets of plugs here. One thing I did change my mind on was the side light bulb on the back. In the last video I fitted blue LEDs to it. I've taken those out. I changed my mind, it looked a bit. So what I'm going to do now is wrap up this loom and get it on the car, and then have a look, shall we? Right, there we have it. The loom's in. Let's have a quick look. I've got the power connecting into the outside of this fuse to the relay box, which is mounted on there. The earth's connecting just down the back of there to the chassis. The relays are just crammed under there for now. What I've got to do later is take this out so I can get to the charge cooler pump. What I'll do is I'll fasten those up properly when I've got this out. The stock lighting plug, that's plugged into our loom. This loom goes to the alarm. That wire, the red and black one, is an ignition live. Down here we've got the side light loom, so this one here, there's already a yellow wire connected in, that's for my daylight running lights. That one we're going to wire into there. The ignition live we're going to wire into there. There's the wiring that's going to go into the back of the light for our new lights. There's a wire, this one here, that one just hangs down the other side with a plug on it. That's for my charge cooler water pump. We come round the front of the engine. There's the plug we mentioned earlier for the fans on the back of there. We'll do another video about all this later. Round, and then we come out and we've got the plug there for the other light. These plugs will just tie up out the way because we don't need them anymore. I'll get these wires soldered on and taped up. We'll get the headlights on. One more wire. This one here we've got to run through to the dash for the switch. We'll do that later. I've got a temperature sensor to fit in the charge cooler line, so we'll have some more wires to go through with that one, so we'll do that one later. So let's have a look, see what they look like, shall we? I'll turn the side lights on. There's the halo side lights on. Now let's turn the main beam on. Now let's turn just the side lights on and the red demon light. And there we have it. But what we'll do is when I get it properly back together, we'll have a proper look outside, and I'll go out when it's a bit darker so we can see properly. There we have it, guys, the projector lights in and done. Hopefully I should be able to drive it soon. We'll finish the charge cooler bits at the front. I'll take that front bumper back off in a minute. I've got to take the battery out and take the spare wheel bit out so we can get underneath it, and then go inside and do the dash. We've got the switch to do for these demon headlights and a fan controller inside. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.